I typically don't do very many product reviews here on the Dive Saga channel. If you are a regular viewer, then you know that I find it far more enjoyable just to be out in exotic locations and go on all kinds of scuba adventures and share that with you. But recently I've been seeing so many reviews, specifically from scuba divers and underwater photographers, videographers, about the Insta360 Ace Pro. And I need to know what it's all about. So I have been convinced to receive all of this, and I'm going to make a GoPro 12 versus Insta360 Ace Pro underwater video comparison because I need to know. Well, hello guys, and welcome back to another episode on the Dive Saga channel. Today, yes, a review video. I need to know what the Insta360 Ace Pro is all about. And so, full disclosure, I accepted all of this just so that I would be able to review it, but I am in no way obliged to speak highly about it. I am going to give this a fair comparison against the GoPro 12, which I only bought like 2 months ago. The reason that I accepted this offer is because, generally speaking, I don't really get that excited about action cameras anymore. I remember when GoPro specifically first came out, it was crazy because I studied film. We had to work with massive cameras to get any kind of reasonable result that wasn't so overtly just lousy home video. And the advent of GoPro was crazy. For many years, every new iteration added something that was obviously beneficial, going to 1080p, going to 4K, 30 frames a second, 60 frames, 120, 180. All of these were noticeable improvements. But in recent years, nobody really goes crazy about an upgrade to 8K or to 240 frames per second. So for an action camera to come and bring something that gets me excited, that's kind of cool. I don't think most people are waiting for the next crazy increase in resolution or frame rate. I think people are looking for simply better performance, things that make our lives as videographers a little bit more easy. And that also means that many of the limitations aren't necessarily technical in nature. I think many of the limitations are up here. What can you as a manufacturer come up with that your user base might actually find useful and be excited about? And I think in the Insta360 Ace Pro, there are some things that I'm genuinely excited about. Now we're going into the water in just a minute here and compare them both head to head, but I do first want to just list a few specs so that you know what has me so excited. The first thing is, of course, that if I have it right here, I even haven't really played with it all too much yet, even all the stickers are still on there. The first thing that has me excited is just the fact that it has a larger sensor. Yeah, so this is a 1/1.3 inch sensor and a lens that's been co-engineered with Leica. Now I know it's fairly common to do these kind of partnerships and slap all kinds of names on there, but a larger sensor and a better lens are absolutely instrumental into making a camera just a little bit better. In terms of the form factor, I mean, we're all used to just a little kind of block cube brick with a sensor and a lens, and I don't know if action cameras are going to go anywhere from there anytime soon. I think this is the form factor that we get. So putting a bigger sensor in there and finding a way to power that and write that all onto a memory card, that's kind of where it's at. Now, the Insta360 Ace Pro also has a flip screen, which I find actually crazy that hasn't been done before. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, we have the little frontal screen, which is square and tiny on many other action cameras, but being able to flip the screen is kind of useful. I don't often use an action camera for my vlogging purposes, but that is actually one of the reasons, is that it's really hard to frame. And if you have a proper lens, proper sensor, and a flip screen, that does make that proposition a little bit more interesting. What's also nice is that flip screen actually, it's not just like one or the other. It kind of, you're able to stop it pretty much everywhere. So that's pretty cool. The next thing that Insta360 themselves is incredibly proud of with this camera is that it basically has a ton of AI features incorporated. Until now, I didn't really consider AI something that had a real practical implication on my way of working. Until now, because Insta360 has basically shoved an AI in between the sensor and the memory card. So before your footage even gets written away, it already gets enhanced. So that means low light performance is supposed to be absolutely incredible with this camera. Again, we're going to compare that, we're going to find that out. I have some cool ideas for another episode to really check the low light performance. There's also 𝐸𝐴𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵 2.0, which is supposed to do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of white balance. There is pure video, which is meant to further enhance the low light capabilities. And there is of course flow state stabilization, which is supposed to stabilize the video to a point where it might as well be on a gimbal. So a lot of features packed into a little brick. At the end of the day, as a consumer, for me, it now comes down to which one is going to give me the most options when I'm shooting, the least headaches when I'm editing, and is the easiest to use. So we are going to find that out. GoPro 12 and Insta360 Ace Pro. Let's figure it out. In terms of size, both cameras are almost identical. The form factor is very similar, with the Insta360 Ace Pro having a larger lens and a larger sensor underneath. Before I get out the door here, there is one thing that I just discovered, and that is that this, the package that I got, it comes with a GPS preview remote. And what's crazy about that is that if you look here, so you can actually in real time watch the footage from the GoPro. You can start it, stop it, but also access all the settings. I can't tell if this is now an example of something that I absolutely don't need, or something that's gonna be insanely useful every time I'm out trying to shoot alone. Like, I'm a little bit blown away by where this is going. It's kind of cool feature, isn't it? I tried to use as similar settings as possible, and at the surface I would say the difference is a matter of taste. But as soon as we descend underwater, it starts to show what the difference really is. If you look closely, I would say my skin tone is a little bit redder on the Insta360 Ace Pro, but there's more. On the wider reefscapes, I find that I see a little bit more detail on the Insta360 Ace Pro, and definitely again a little bit more red and a little bit more magenta in the image. I think that may be due to the AI processing chip, or maybe it's a setting, I'm not really sure, but there is no post-production done on these images. This is how they come out of the GoPro Hero 12 and out of the Insta360 Ace Pro. I am aware that of course Insta360 offers the Aqua Vision 2.0, but I did not apply that on these images. Again, here more red, just overall a lot more vibrant colors, and in general a little bit less work in post-production, I would say. You're always going to want to tweak your footage once you're done shooting underwater, but if you're looking for something with a quick turnover time, maybe for use on social media, then I think the Insta360 Ace Pro probably has the upper hand here, because it simply requires a lot less color correction afterwards. Even with backlight, I think the Insta360 just gives a little bit more detail and a little bit more nuance in the image, but that's again a matter of taste as well. just in general, it seems like the automatic white balance is just a little bit better. Here, the image on the right, the Insta360 Ace Pro, is maybe a little bit more blue and the GoPro a little bit more green, but in general, I would say everybody seems to be correct. The Ace Pro has it. And that's that for the Insta360 Ace Pro versus the GoPro 12. Now, if you wonder how it does as a vlogging camera, well, that's what I'm shooting on right now. If you wonder how it does in low light, you'll have to watch next episode, because I have a few ideas to push this camera to the extreme in low light situations. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.